Hello everyone. I want to do a video talking about secondary emotional disturbance and what that means and how that plays such a big part in any OCD and anxiety sufferer's journey. Okay, so what is secondary emotional disturbance? That is when the person becomes anxious about being anxious. They become depressed about being depressed. They become guilty about being guilty. They become sad about being sad. Okay, so for example, let's say you have a job interview coming up and you could be anxious for that job interview. And then you have anxiety about being anxious for that job interview. Let's say you are maybe depressed about something. Maybe you're just depressed for how long you've been stuck with OCD. Okay, and then you feel depressed about being depressed. Okay, so you can see how that secondary disturbance plays such a big part in keeping people stuck, especially with fear of fear. Because let's say you're working on the fear of why you're anxious about the job interview, but you still feel anxious. Well, that is because you're scared of feeling anxious. You're scared of feeling depressed. You're guilty about feeling guilty. Let's say because you're suffering with chronic guilt, or because you've known the feeling of chronic guilt for quite a while, and let's say you avoid people, you avoid going out, you avoid living life, you avoid just certain things because of the chronic guilt, you then feel guilty about avoiding. You then feel guilty about feeling guilty about avoiding. Okay? Now, I know it can seem quite confusing, but it plays such a key part. And I remember reading about this, in Albert Ellis's book, and I was going, yes, because I feel anxious about being depressed. Okay, so then you start scanning, how are you feeling? You then have the internal thermometer raised, thinking about how you feel. You're rating how you feel. You're measuring how you feel because you are scared of feeling anxious. You are scared of feeling depressed. You are scared of feeling ashamed. Okay, you are scared that chronic guilt feeling is going to come back. Okay, so with that, we have to allow ourselves to feel anything. Okay, even going through the OCD recovery journey, allow yourself to feel anything. Okay, people often say, Sam, I had this intrusive thought and now I feel anxious. Okay, no, the intrusive thought did not make you anxious. It's your belief around the intrusive thought. It's your belief around the core fear. It's your belief around the worst case scenario. That's why you feel anxious. And then, like this whole video is suggesting, you then feel anxious about feeling anxious about that intrusive thought. Okay? And it's so subtle, and it keeps a lot of people stuck, because it's understandable why we feel depressed about feeling anxious, because chronic anxiety and chronic guilt isn't a nice feeling. No one is saying that it's a nice feeling. However, if you put a positive spin on it, if you look at it on a different angle, if you look at it in a different light, all it is a feeling in the body. It's energy in the body. It's sensitized nerves. That's all that is. Okay, so how we label that, if we say, that's the worst feeling ever, I need this anxiety gone, I need the guilt gone, I need the panic attacks gone. Now all that's doing is fueling the fire, because you're saying, right, I need it gone for me to live my life. Well, no, you can live life even with it there. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, you may not enjoy stuff. You may not be excited at stuff. You may not be in the moment. You may not be as connected. You may not feel as present. But all it is a feeling, right? It's not a physical barrier. It's just a mental barrier when we say, I cannot do stuff because I feel this way. I cannot do this because I feel anxious. I cannot do this because I feel guilty. Okay? So quite often, and I was speaking to someone about this in a one-to-one call, where they go, Sam, I'm not necessarily scared of my core fear anymore. I've worked on that. I've broke that down. I've worked on irrational beliefs. But why do I still feel anxious? Why do I still feel guilty? And I'm saying it's because you are feeling anxious about feeling anxious again. You see, the fear of fear is the main catalyst for most suffering, because we know what the suffering was like. You remember how bad it felt at times, so you then get anxious about feeling guilty. You then become depressed about the chronic guilt feeling coming back. Okay? It's so important to remember that. So if you are watching this video now and you're saying, Sam, you're watching me in my funky hair. I'm desperate for a haircut, by the way. Look how high that is. What's that character? My partner keeps calling me a character. It's also a bit like an ice gem. So if I shave the sides now and my hair goes up, I look a nice gem. That's what I'm going to do. So my next video, you'll see the hair shaved and up like that. But I am desperate for a haircut. So if I keep it down and it goes in front of my eyes. So yeah, to go back to what I completely lost the trail of what I was saying now. I shouldn't have gone off about my hair. How stupid. Completely forgot what I was saying. So feel anxious about feeling anxious, depressed about feeling depressed. I'm so sorry, I completely forgot what I'm saying. Let's cover another point. So, like I said, it's the main catalyst for why we feel how we do. Right, that was what I was saying. So people say to me, Sam, I've worked on my rational beliefs, I've worked on my core fear. Let's say your fear is going to jail. Let's say your fear is being a bad person. Let's say your fear is of rejection, or that you may have acted immorally and now you cannot live with yourself. You cannot possibly live with the chronic guilt, okay? So that is your fear. So you're breaking that down. You're breaking down why jail won't be the worst case scenario, why rejection isn't needed, although you like the feeling of approval, why you never need that. So you're breaking that down. You're seeing how you can stand that, how you can bear it. You're falsifying the irrational belief. You're disproving the irrational belief. You're seeing good outcomes out of the worst case scenario. You're doing all that, but you say, Sam, why am I still stuck? Why do I still feel like shit, Sam? Well, two answers to that question. Number one, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time. Okay, so many times when I was working on beliefs, I still felt shit for a very, very long time. Very long time. To be fiercely realistic with you, when I started to apply unconditional acceptance, I would say I didn't bear I didn't see the results of that. I didn't see the long-lasting change to that, I'd say within 2 years, right? I know that seems scary, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the same to you. But that was because I was still watching how I felt. So don't expect your feelings to change as you change beliefs and behaviors, okay? That takes time, okay? This is why we assess in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, because it's not just a plain sailing linear journey. There's going to be ups and downs whilst you work on beliefs and whilst you work on behaviors, okay? So number one, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And number two, it's because you have the secondary emotional disturbance, which is what I'm speaking about here. So you're asking, Sam, I've worked on my beliefs. Why do I still feel like crap? Well, it's because you are scared of that feeling coming back. You are, very subtly at times, watching if that feeling is going to return. You're scanning for it. You're measuring it. Oh shit, here it comes again. Oh no, here we go again. That kind of feeling, that kind of thinking, okay? That negative mindset towards it. I had to get to a mindset that OCD, do your worst. I completely surrendered to it, thinking, if you want to ruin my holiday next week, come along, buy a passenger ticket, come on the plane, and come and visit the world with me, right? I had to go into that mindset. I had to let my days working be ruined. I had to let my days at football be ruined. I had to let times out of my partner, out with friends, where I didn't feel in the moment, I didn't feel connected at all, I felt like I was in my mind 24/7. I had to let that happen because I had such a fear of that coming back when I was doing well. I had such a resistance to that. Please don't come in now. Please, please, please don't ruin this moment. Not this wedding. Oh no, not this holiday. No, I spent money on this holiday. Please don't ruin that. Well, that is the thinking. That becomes a problem. Okay, that becomes a big problem because you've got the internal thermometer raised. You're taking the temperature of how I feel. No, okay, let yourself feel whatever. Surrender to any feeling. Okay, that is so, so important for fear and fear. Okay, but also breaking this down. Okay, well, why do I feel anxious about being anxious? What is so bad about anxiety? Okay, what can I do in my life even feeling anxious? Well, I can still do this. I can still travel the world. I can still read books. I can still watch a film. I can still date. I can still see friends. I can still go to sporting events. I can still listen to music. I can still paint. I can still do research. Okay? The point being is that although it's not a nice feeling, it's not a comfortable feeling, it's certainly not a wanted feeling, the aim isn't to eliminate anxiety, full stop. No, because anxiety is designed to save your life. If a bus was coming my way at 30 miles an hour, anxiety would probably make me run out of the way, right? Which would inevitably save my life. If I didn't have anxiety, if I didn't have panic, I'd be going, oh yeah, it's just fine. You're not walking around as an emotionless, numb robot. That's not the case. That's the misconception of stoicism. That's the misconception of rational thinking. No. Now, when I look back at my life and how I was compared to how I am today, I've never been so in touch with my emotions. But that means I've never been so emotionally invested in things, right? I'm emotionally invested in my relationship, in my career, in my working with OCD, in sport. So, for example, when I was really suffering, I sort of lost all care, lost all interest in my football team, or in just hobbies, interests, things that I enjoy doing. I didn't really care because I was so caught up in my own mind, right? And I didn't have any emotion because it was just like, oh, how are you feeling today? Just felt so guilty all the time, anxious and depressed. But now I'm totally invested in that. I'm plugged into life. I've got that energized feeling. So it's the opposite of an emotionless robot. I'm not walking out with a complete straight face, never getting happy, never getting sad. No, that is not the aim. Okay, that's not possible as well because you're human. You're gonna, I get frustrated. I do get pissed off at things, right? And my football team lose every week. I don't come out of there happy. I come out of there pissed off. But I'm rational about that. Same when we win, which is very, very rare. I come out of there very excited, very happy, and buzzing, that buzzing feeling, that all that connected moment, everyone in the crowd is connected and happy and sort of, buzzing over the smallest of things, or the last minute goal. Looking back, last minute goal is nothing, but in the moment it's huge. It feels everything, hence why people go crazy. Okay, so yeah, so I'm off a bit of a tangent there about my football team, but I always do. But yeah, so if you are struggling with this, bring it for the ride, live your life with it there, okay? But also look, why is anxiety so bad? Why is chronic guilt so bad? Is it just a feeling? Yes. Can I stand it? Yes. Can I prove to myself that I can stand it? Well, yes, because I'm here watching this video of me with this crazy hair. You're watching this video, so you obviously can stand it. You obviously can bear it. Although it's just not a nice feeling. It's uncomfortable, of course it is, but you can bear it. Okay, you can do all the things that you want in life, even with it there, even with no excitement, even with no enjoyment, even with the quality of life lowering, of course, but you can still do these things. Now, that's not a quick fix. But once you realise that, you're like, oh my God, all it is a mental barrier. All it is me saying, I can't do this because I feel this way. Hence why you don't feel anxious about being anxious. You don't feel guilty about being guilty, okay? So really dissect these irrational beliefs. Really identify where you're going wrong, what's causing the problem, what am I stuck on? I'm scared of being anxious. Okay, well, let's break that down. All right, this is so important. Fear of fear was so subtle for me. It kept me stuck for so long, but it was the main catalyst of my suffering. It was the main thing keeping the cogs turning, the cogs of the suffering turning, because it was like, I've worked on my beliefs. Why am I still stuck? Hell, why am I still stuck? Because you're so scared of going back. You're anxious about being anxious. Okay, that is such a key, big component into why you're still stuck. Really think about that. Really think about that. If you are interested in our one-to-one services, our coaching calls, our tailor-made, specialised coaching calls to look at your fears, set a recovery plan of how you can get better from your own, or what you're struggling with, things where you're going wrong, maybe the compulsions you're doing, maybe the irrational beliefs that you're unaware of, we can help you see that and help you overcome OCD and live with long-term freedom. If you are interested in that, please email phil@ocdrecovery.com. At the end of this video, there will be a screen with a WhatsApp number, which you can contact and speak to one of our coaches here and get arranged with some one-to-one calls. If you have liked this video, please leave a like and we'll speak again. Please leave a comment if you have enjoyed my crazy hair.